Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Amnaya Sutra by Srila Satchitananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Translated by His Grace Kusakratha Prabhu. Part 1. Chapter 1. The Master of all Potencies. Now we will speak the Amnaya Sutra. The Absolute Truth is one without a second. He has inconceivable potencies eternally. He has a variety of transcendental qualities eternally. Because he has inconceivable potencies, it is proper that he has these mutually contradictory natures. Because the Lord's feature without qualities cannot be perceived, his feature with qualities is more important. He has 4 manifestations. 1. His original form. 2. The forms of his direct expansions. 3. The individual spirit souls. And 4. The world of matter. Everything is inconceivably different and non-different from him. Chapter 2. The Potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord's 3 transcendental potencies are 1. Hladini, bliss, 2. Sandhini, eternity, and 3. Samvit, knowledge. Those potencies become 1. Antaranga, internal potency, 2. Bahiranga, external potency, and 3. Tatashta, marginal potency. The Lord's glance pushes his potency into action. Chapter 3. The real form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Personality of Godhead has 3 features. By following Jnana Yoga, the undifferentiated spirit, Brahman, is realized. By following the path of Yoga, the Supersoul, who is present everywhere in the material universe, is realized. From him come countless incarnations. All these incarnations are the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. They are the masters of the spiritual potencies. By following the path of devotional service, the perfect Supreme Personality of Godhead, the master of all opulences, is realized. He has 3 features: Audarya, generosity, Madhurya, sweetness, and Aishwarya, opulence. To this world he descends with his own potency and his transcendental abode. Chapter 4. The Abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The glories of the Lord's many forms are manifested in many different abodes. The abode of Brahman is light. The abode of the Supersoul is the material world. The spiritual sky is the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Chapter 5. The external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The material energy is the reflected potency of the Lord. The material energy is called by the name Pradhan, and other names also. The material energy, which consists of the modes of material nature, covers the spirit souls with gross and subtle bodies. In that external potency are situated time, space, karma, and other aspects of matter. The wonderful variety present in the Lord's external energy is a perverted reflection of the wonderful variety present in the Lord's internal energy. Chapter 6. The nature of the individual spirit souls. The individual spirit souls are rays of light coming from the sun of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the individual spirit souls are situated between them, the souls can stay in either of the Lord's two energies. By nature, they are pure spirit. We are the individual spirit souls. Each one of us is endowed with a distinct identity. The souls also have a quality of being knowers of knowledge. Because they rebelled against the Supreme Lord, they have entered into ignorance. They are bewildered about their own identity. They suffer in bondage created by material activities. Because he falsely identifies with the gross and subtle material bodies, the soul suffers in the world of birth and death. By turning to the Lord and becoming favorable to him, the soul attains his original form, and thus becomes free of all his troubles. When he becomes favorable to the Lord, the soul can see the Lord face to face. Chapter 7. The movements of the spirit souls. 4 states of existence prevail in the world of birth and death: furtive activity, speculative knowledge, mystic yoga, and devotional service. From ignorance comes the state of performing fruitive works. From knowledge comes the state of renunciation. From aloofness comes the state of freedom from duality. When devotional service is practiced, the state of love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead comes into being. The residents of the material world are mostly on the level of performing fruitive work. Sometimes the conditioned souls may wish to understand the truth about the path of birth and death. Then they also desire to know how they may become liberated. By renouncing the association of the impious, one can attain that result. By associating with devotees, one attains the desire to understand the scriptures. Part 2. Description of the means of spiritual attainment. Chapter 1. Determination of what is the means of spiritual attainment. Some say that the performance of regular duties is the means of spiritual attainment. Others say that the theory of monism, oneness, is the means of spiritual attainment. When fruitive work is performed to gain piety, piety is employed to foster renunciation, and renunciation is employed to gain the nectar of spiritual bliss. Then fruitive work can be a secondary tool for attaining success in spiritual life. When it is employed in the proper way to attain the nectar of spiritual bliss, the path of knowledge can be a secondary tool to attain spiritualization. The fortunate souls say that the path of spiritual variety is the true means of spiritual attainment. Chapter 2. The activities for spiritual advancement. By associating with devotees, the fortunate souls attain faith and unalloyed devotional service. Faith is a specific activity performed in the heart. It makes one desire to engage in devotional service. It is different from the other means of spiritual advancement. Faith is characterized by taking shelter of the Lord and surrendering unto him. Faith leads one to take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master's feet. Then one engages in the 9 activities of sadhana bhakti, devotional service. Then one hears about the Supreme Lord's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Then one chants the glories of all these. Then one remembers all these. Then one serves the Lord's feet. One may also worship the Lord. Consecration of articles of worship, offering Rasas to Lord Keshava, requesting the Lord to appear, accepting the marks of a Vaishnava, wearing flower garlands offered to the Lord, drinking the nectar that has washed the Lord's feet, and following vows are included among the activities of worshiping the Lord. One may also offer obeisances to the Lord. One may also serve the Lord. One may become the Lord's friend. One may also surrender everything to the Lord. Chapter 3. Obstacles to Spiritual Advancement. 10 kinds of offenses should be avoided by one engaged in devotional service, sadhana bhakti. 1. One should regularly give up the company of non-devotees. 2. One should not instruct a person who is not desirous of accepting devotional service. 3. One should not be very enthusiastic about constructing costly temples or monasteries. 4. One should not try to read too many books, nor should one develop the idea of earning his livelihood by lecturing on or professionally reciting Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. 5. One should not be neglectful in ordinary dealings. 6. One should not be under the spell of lamentation in loss or jubilation in gain. 7. One should not disrespect the demigods. 8. One should give up unnecessary trouble to any living entity. 9. One should carefully avoid the various offenses in chanting the holy name of the Lord or in worshiping the deity in the temple. Without following the above-mentioned 10 principles, one cannot properly elevate himself to the platform of sadhana bhakti or devotional service and practice. By engaging in devotional service and by cultivating humbleness, mercy, proper renunciation, one can avoid the previously described offenses. However, they who follow the fourfold sadhana of the impersonalists, or who follow the paths of yoga or karma, cannot be free from these offenses. When devotional service comes to this stage of maturity, all unwanted obstacles cease to exist. 1. Misidentification of the self. 2. Thirst for material things. 3. Offenses. And 4. Weakness of heart are the 4 obstacles on the spiritual path. By engaging in the activities of devotional service, and by the mercy of the spiritual master, one becomes free of all these obstacles, and one also becomes expert in devotional service. Chapter 4. The Stages of Devotional Service. Then one attains faith in devotional service. Then attraction is manifested. Then attachment is manifest. Then ecstatic love is manifest. Part 3. Description of the Final Goal. Chapter 1. What is the final goal? The dull material world, which is made of ignorance, is not the final goal. Varietyless impersonal liberation is not the final goal either. Although realization of the impersonal aspect of the Supreme is not the final goal, it is sometimes a useful intermediary stage. But the intermediate stage of impersonalism is not always recommended. The state of spiritual variety is the final stage of spiritual advancement. Chapter 2. Continuous Ecstasy. When spiritual love increases, it reaches the stage called rati. When rati becomes especially splendid and blissful, and when it passionately is directed towards Lord Krishna alone, it becomes priti. When it is very intense, and when the lover becomes very possessive of the beloved, priti becomes prema. When that love becomes intimate and the lover confident of his position, prema becomes pranaya. When the dim reflection of crookedness is present, and when the love is both wonderful and pleasing, pranaya becomes man, jealous anger. When the heart melts, prema becomes sneha. When the lover's desires are so strong, sneha becomes raga. When the feelings between the lover and beloved are newer and newer at every moment, raga becomes anurag. When it is intoxicated with wonders that have no equal or superior, anurag becomes mahabhav. Chapter 3. The Rasas. When it is nourished by various ingredients, rati becomes rasa, nectar mellows. The primary rasas are 5, and the secondary rasas are 7. The first rasa is shantaras, neutrality. The next rasa is dasyaras, servitorship. The next rasa is sakyaras, friendship. The next rasa is vatsalyaras, parental love. The next rasa is madhura ras, conjugal love. Each of these primary rasas is more glorious than the previous rasa. The 7 secondary rasas are laughter, wonder, chivalry, compassion, anger, disaster, and fear. When the secondary rasas meet the primary rasas, the nectar ocean of devotional rasas increases. Chapter 4. Relishing the Rasas. The ingredients of rasa are of 4 kinds. The first of the ingredients of rasa is vibhav, the cause bringing about the tasting of love for Krishna. Vibhava is divided into 2 features, alambana, support, and udipana, awakening. The next ingredient of rasa is anubhav, subsequent ecstasy. There are 13 kinds of anubhav: dancing, rolling on the ground, singing very loudly, stretching the body, crying loudly, yawning, breathing very heavily, neglecting the presence of others, drooling, laughing like a madman, wheeling the head, and belching. The next ingredient of rasa is sattvika bhav, constitutional or existential ecstasy. Sattvika bhav has 8 features: becoming stunned, perspiring, standing of the hairs in the body, faltering of the voice, trembling of the body, changing of bodily colors, shedding of tears, and devastation. The next ingredient of rasa is sanchari bhav, continuously existing ecstatic symptoms. Sanchari bhava has 33 features: disappointment, lamentation, humility, guilt, fatigue, intoxication, pride, doubt, apprehension, intense emotion, madness, forgetfulness, disease, confusion, death, laziness, inertness, bashfulness, concealment, remembrance, argumentativeness, anxiety, thoughtfulness, endurance, happiness, eagerness, violence, haughtiness, envy, impudence, dizziness, sleepiness, and alertness. The rasas of devotional service are free from the slightest scent of maya, the illusionary potency of matter. They are a great wonder of spiritual variety. They are the greatest treasure. Lord Krishna's pastimes are the place where all the rasas rest. By following the path of pure and spontaneous love, one should seek entrance into Lord Krishna's pastimes. Regaining their original spiritual forms, the individual souls may enter into Lord Krishna's pastimes. That is their greatest glory. When he regains his original spiritual form, enters Lord Krishna's pure spiritual abode, worships and serves the Lord there, and there tastes the nectar of rasa with Lord Krishna, the soul attains perfection. Chapter 5. The Supreme Good Fortune. As they become qualified, the individual souls attain higher and higher positions. Vaidhi Bhakti, devotional service according to regulative principles, is rooted in faith and what is beyond the modes of material nature. Raganuga Bhakti, spontaneous devotional service, is rooted in attraction and love. The first kind of devotion, Vaidhi Bhakti, the devotees are aware of the Lord's opulence. And the second kind of devotion, Raganuga Bhakti, the devotees are not aware of the Lord's opulences. This kind of devotion is completely pure. It is not mixed with anything else. It is very powerful. Sadhana Bhakti, devotional service and practice, continues up to the stage of a Shakti, attachment. The stages that begin with Bhava and end in Mahabhava are called Siddha Bhakti, perfect devotional service. In these stages, the Samvit Shakti, potency of transcendental knowledge, and Hladini Shakti, potency of transcendental bliss, are manifested. Liberation is the stage where, leaving the material body behind, the soul again manifests his original spiritual form. There are two kinds of liberation: Svarup Siddha, perfection of one's original form, and Vastu Siddha, perfection of opulences. Liberation is the eternal companion of devotional service. Devotional service is sometimes served by knowledge and renunciation. Devotional service is independent. It does not depend on knowledge and renunciation. Devotional service reveals the glory of the soul's true nature. Devotional service takes its birth among conditioned souls only when they associate with saintly devotees. The Lord's mercy is also the cause of attaining devotional service. The Vedic knowledge passed down through disciplic succession is another cause of devotional service. A person's actions are the mother of his future destiny. Therefore, with all one's heart, one should serve the saintly devotees. Thus ends Amnaya Sutra.
Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama,